It's the Corrado Lark, Corrado Lark, Corrado Lark Knitcast podcast channel. Yeah. And we're back. Sorry about that. I wanted to put the phone on airplane mode, and then I wanted to do this. I'm gonna try and cover my face. No, I'm not gonna do that. What am I trying to... I make it so complicated for myself. I think that's been the problem with me podcasting, is like, in my head, it's such a bigger thing than it really is. It's just been a little bit of a struggle to get back at, but we're here. We're drinking some nice coffee as usual. Not that much has changed, except I have a lot of whips, a lot of finished projects, a lot of yarn, some notion-y things in a bag, and some finished objects. I think I usually start with my finished objects, so I think we're gonna do that. To be honest, I didn't watch back any of my episodes to really know what my formatting was, and it's been about 3 or 4 months, and I didn't feel like writing out show notes. So we're just gonna kind of go with the flow and flow through in knitting flow. Get through the podcast. It's great. I'm really so happy that so many people have found this channel and have been asking me to come back and to film some more, and it's been really exciting, especially now that I have my iPhone X. I think the quality is going to be much better. You're going to get to see the not so great quality of this little section of my living room that I film in, because I don't feel like moving all my furniture to film. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to cut this little, like, this is a doorway to the other, like, the dining room area and then my bedroom area. And this is the corner of the room. See it? See, there's the corner? Corner. The new framing of Corrado Lark Knitcast podcast channel. Spilling nice coffee everywhere. I'm already a mess. Okay, let's do this. Let's start off with, okay, I'm going to start off with the design that I'm about to release. I do want to talk a little bit about those. So I've been releasing a lot of patterns this year. I started designing in December is when I designed my first pattern and wrote it out. I started really releasing in March. And since then, I've now released a total of 22 patterns on Ravelry, which is, it's a lot. It's just really the pace that I've been going. I do a lot of accessories and smaller items, so I can really, I can finish a design for those in like a couple of days to a week, dropping my design, and so I get a lot out there, which, I'm really excited to do. Some people have told me I can totally slow down. People are like, oh, you could release a design once a month or two, and I'm like, if I were to release a design once every other month or even every month, I would have so many designs stockpiled, I would be like Stevie Wonder, where like he has like 40 albums recorded supposedly that haven't been released, so that when he dies, like he'll be releasing for another like century basically. Yeah, I'm trying to just like get them out there is my plan. So with that, last week I released this pattern. I guess we're starting here. I released the pattern for the Death to Fade cowl. Oh, there's my heat. Welcome to winter in New York. Steam heat. It's an old building. So this is it's Olan yarn. Actually, I have 3 samples that were done in this from Olan. The first sample was a commission that I got through my former job, and it was really beautiful. I made this really big version of this. And I loved it so much that I reached out to Jess of Olan and was like, hey, I did this cowl. I can't release it because it's for a commission as it is, but I would love to, do more or whatever. And then she sent me 4 skeins, so it's 2 of each, for a medium and a small size cowl. So this is this one. Oh gosh. Colorway names. That's a really good question. If you look in the pattern, or if you look on the pattern page, it'll definitely tell you. This one was actually sample knit by my good friend Tao, the Lone Alpaca, on Instagram and I believe Ravelry. The Lone period, alpaca. So she knit this one, and she actually taught me something with her knitting the sample for me. Now, she went into it, she did like her gauging, and she thought that she was right on, but when we went to double check it, and after I blocked it, and I looked at it next to my other size, the gauge was much tighter, which actually really works. Now, I like a drapier, looser flowing cowl, so when I knit brioche cowls like this, I tend to knit them at a little bit of a looser gauge. I think I actually knit mine on like 3 or 4s, and it's DK, so that's even, you know, it's a little lower, which you always would do with brioche. You would knit with a lower size needle just because it's a squishier, you know, 2-layer fabric. But she also, the other 2 samples that I did, I knit from the darker color to light, because this is a gradient fade pattern with a chart that you follow. But she knit it from the light to the dark. So the fade is actually more subtle and a little less like pixelated like my other 2 came out, which either way works. I mean, this is a really easy standard pattern for, you know, if you've never knit brioche, all you're doing is you're knitting 1 and 2 color brioche, you're gonna be a master of 1 and 2 color brioche at the end of it. There are no increases or decreases, and it's just following a color chart, and it's a very basic color chart. It's not like you're changing every other stitch or anything. You change every row, basically. So it's like this way, and then when you turn it inside out, you do get a slightly different effect. Just so slightly. This one's very subtle because of the 2 colors were an actual fade, a set, very clearly faded, which the other samples that I did were not so faded. There's, you know, they were much darker to much lighter, which gives you that pixelation effect. If you look at some of the project pages on Ravelry too, you'll see it. I also give multiple options for cast-offs and bind-offs, cast-ons and bind-offs. I prefer an I-cord cast-off and bind-off, cast-on and bind-off. I prefer that over almost anything, just for the look of it, partially. So not just for the look of it. Getting the swing. Partially for the look of it, and partially because when you use an I-cord cast-on and bind-off on a cowl like this, it's gonna hold it closer to your neck. So whereas this might be a little more billowy, you know, this is gonna keep you warmer than if you say did an Italian cast-on and anyway, this is Death to Fade. This is available right now on Ravelry, depending on, regardless when I release this video, which hopefully will be like today or tomorrow. Today is the 5th? 6th of December? I think it's the 6th. Yesterday was the 5th. I was working on Gotham. Gotham's ending, y'all. We'll get to that. We'll get to my life in the end if it's not like a 3-hour-long video. Anyway, so this is the next design that I'm about to release. The plan is to release it on Saturday. It's called Tinman, with the subtitle, If I Only Had a Heart. I know, sweet and sad. Typical Corrado Lark, right? And typical with his hair. So, I met Lillian of Hub City Fibers at the Chelsea Yarns Asylum Fibers trunk show this summer. We had talked, I think, a little bit, but we met and we clicked really right away. We had talked back and forth. She came to visit me, and, you know, a few weeks after I designed this, but she sent me yarn to design with. She dyed up the colorway for me, and she sent me 2 skeins of it, so I sent one of them to my lovely test knitter and friend Tracy Hennick, and then the other one I knit with. Now, I'm currently, before I'm showing you this, trying to find, well, basically, it's a reversible beanie. We're just gonna show it to you, because that's where we're at. So this is the decrease. This is the inside when you knit it, not the outside. So it's kind of like this surprise when you finish. The colorway is called Navajo Turquoise, and it's like, it's a silvery, taupey base with some like turquoise speckles, and I absolutely love it. You know, this is the large size beanie, but not the slouchy beanie version. I have multiple versions in the pattern. There's a small and a large. It's also easily adaptable for there if you want to do it for like a kid or someone who has a much larger head. But it is ribbing, so it will stretch. And then I also give like regular dimensions and slouchy dimensions. So this is the way, when you knit it, this is what you're gonna see on the outside. It pretty much looks like a 1x1 rib. You know, it's a little, you can see a little variation. Let me see if I can get closer. Oof, we all love this iPhone X, don't we? If you have one, you understand. I'm gonna do this again just because this side, like, the decreases work up really cool in this pattern. Let's see, and then like this spiral is just, I'm obsessed with. Again, I'm obsessed with the tops of hats, so this one's a really good one. And what I love about this hat, because all of my other hats are a little bigger and slouchier, as I've said, at this point, that at least sample-wise that I have. A lot of times I write in adaptations. But what I do with this one is I actually wear it with the thinner ribbing, not the thicker, like this side kind of looks like a 2x2 almost, and then I wear the thinner ribbing, and then I fold the brim. So it's almost like a fisherman's cap. I mean, pretty much it's a fisherman's cap. It's like a little bit yarmulke-like in a cool way. Not that yarmulkes aren't cool, but like in a, like, you don't really think it's a yarmulke. But anyway, not to offend my Jewish friends, it's Hanukkah at the moment. Happy Hanukkah. I'm not Jewish. I played a lot of Jewish people though on TV and on the stage. I'm very proud to do so. Proud to represent my non-religion. Anyway, no offense, man. This is the hat. Okay, so this is coming out Saturday for Hub City Fibers Trunk Show at Nitty City. So I will be there. I think I'll get there around 2. I think that gives me a couple of hours there, hopefully. At least that is the plan. Yes, I'm wearing gym shorts, and I just knocked over one of my things that I had to show you. I'll get there. So, yep, hair's already going crazy. Gone crazy. I need a haircut. So this is Tin Min. It'll be available on Ravelry. And it's an MCN blend, so it's merino cashmere nylon, super soft. I've been playing with a lot of different yarns lately. I do love any yarn, and sometimes it's just because there's a little bit of cashmere, but there's some yarns that when you knit with them, it has like this cool warming effect as well, like as you're going, and I love that feel. Oh my god, I forgot to bring something. I have so much stuff over here, and I forgot to bring one of the most important things that I have to show you. Moving on. Now I'm gonna just go through some of my patterns that I don't think I've shown on the podcast that are now available on Ravelry because it's been so long. And this one was my Halloween design. It's called Jack's Lament. So this is Hello Mellow hand spun. And it's a cowl, but it's a Mobius. So when you cast on, you know, a lot of people have, when you first start to learn to knit in the round, a lot of people will twist when they join to work in the round, and so this is something you do intentionally to get a Mobius, but in most other forms you're not going to want that twist. But what it does, it allows this yarn to really, when you wear it, it's like one of the drapiest, you know, beautiful things I think I've knit. So I know they're more natural wools, not scratchy. I think one's an alpaca blend. If you ever worked with Hello Mellow hand spun, she works with a lot of different like breed specific blends, beautiful wool. This is actually, it's like a neon orange, and then it's like a brown with purple in it, which I love. So it's not actually black. I'm not showing you. There's one section that I had to double stitch my brioche. So really all this is, it's a 2-row repeat for most of the pattern. Also it's sized out a couple of different ways. And it's just brioche and striping basically that you work through. So that is Jack's Lament. So many people have done them in different colors now. I really love, it works the best with high contrast. So a really dark color, like either a black, brown, a dark gray, something like that. And then like a really bright, like a neon, a mint, a teal, something like that. Those have come out really cool. So it's a fun cowl, pretty beautiful. It's really nice to wear. I look forward to maybe doing one that isn't in a Halloween color. But I do love Halloween, and I knit quite a bit for it this year. More than Christmas this year. Oh well, kinda. Maybe that's not true. Maybe. So, Jack's Lament, also available on Ravelry. Boom! Love it. No disrespect. Okay, so this you may have seen on Christy Glass Knits. I did an interview with her, I think it came out in October, I believe. Early October, because Becky, who runs Clinton Hill Cashmere, is a friend of mine, and she, you know, we've been back and forth for a bit about me doing another design with her, and she saw, you know, one of the designs that I did, and she went, okay, I'm sending you stuff. And I was like, great. What do you know? She was like, what do you want? I was like, black and red. And so she sent me 2 skeins of Onyx and 1 skein of Scarlet in the Clinton Hill Cashmere DK, which is the new weight that she has. And let me tell you, that yarn is just absolutely stunning. The DK weight is really beautiful. It really works so well for color work. And this is Darth FM. Darth FM stands for Darth Vader Malsberg. I'm here still. I came up with the name because I loved the name Darth Vader. I think that was like a fun, like fadey, kitschy name because of Darth Vader from Star Wars. And then the colors are more Darth Maul, if you know anything about Star Wars. So I went with Darth Vader Maul, and then I was looking at Darth Vader Maul. It kind of sounded like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so it was Darth Vader Malsberg, Darth FM. So this is a cowl. Again, it's 150 grams to 100 of the dark color and then 50 of the red. I know some people are working on doing it in the worsted Clinton Hill Cashmere. Some people have done it in alpaca blends. People have done it in all sorts of different combinations. I will say I did not size the pattern out when I wrote it, mainly because with Becky and Clinton Hill Cashmere, like, it's such an expensive product that I wanted to use pretty much as much of it as I possibly could in keeping the pattern going. And so I didn't really work to grade it out because I didn't think it was appropriate for me to grade it out to a larger size, and saying that you would need to use, like, say 3 balls of Clinton Hill Cashmere for the dark color, but you're really only going to use like a quarter of that ball. Like, I wasn't about to do that. So maybe I'll go back one day and I'll really grade it out and make it like an infinity scarf as well, is what I was thinking. And then maybe a tighter cowl, but with something that's this warm, because it's 100% cashmere. And it's such beautiful, beautiful cashmere. It's a long cowl, so it goes up high, it'll stay up. It keeps you really warm. It's my warmest garment, or my warmest accessory that I have at the moment. So I wear this too much. I absolutely love it. It's worth every penny if you buy the yarn. I do prefer the DK, I'm not gonna lie. I know she has limited colors at the moment, but this DK is just such a beautiful weight for this yarn, for the fiber. So that's Darth FM. Yeah, I am a designer, y'all. When did that happen? It's been a crazy year. I will say, all year I've been working with like this sort of concept in my head where I was like, I'm gonna give this designing thing a year, and I decided it last year at Vogue. Once I started working in it a little bit, and I was like, you know, I've been an actor singer for a long time, and I have some stuff going on with that at the moment, and I work on TV in background, and I was working at like a cafe a bit, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna give this a year and really go at it and see what I can come up with, see what my real skill set is at it, and, you know, see if it's really worth it for me to do. And I'm gonna pass that year and just keep going, for sure. I do have a big design coming up for Vogue Knitting Live. I'm not going to talk much about that. I'm not going to show you what it is, nothing about it. I want nothing out there. I have some secret test knitters working on it, and if you want to be a secret test knitter, message me, because there's still time. But, so I finished that design. The steam heat, y'all, so loud, rude. I finished that design, and I'm just powering forward. I have so many more lined up. Anyway, the next one that I finished, this is this was a fun design for me. Last year, when I met Christy Glass, actually, I met her at Knitty City in December last year, and I was picking out yarn to knit my my fingerless mitts. I knit the what are they? The Erin. I don't know. They're from Rib 1, which I should probably know because I'm basically knitting all of Rib 1 at this moment. Urban Erin mitts. There it is. I knit those, and I love them. But you know, with mitts, and especially something like that, they can stretch out. So you kind of have to do it every year, at least as I've been doing with the fingerless mitts, at least. So this pattern I knew I was gonna do earlier in the year. And I met Erin, you know, we didn't really know at this point, but I met her at Stitches United, Erin of Morehouse Farms. At Stitches United, she like threw a random skein in my bag. I think I've talked about this on the channel. And I knit the Maze tin can knits mitts for my mom. And I loved the yarn so much that I didn't have a label, so I was like scurrying to find it. I found Morehouse Farms. I got in contact with her, and she was like, oh my god, I'll send you some more yarn you'll design for us. So I designed these mitts. These are called the Crater and Stream fingerless mitts. They're a little bit pilly at the moment. Again, this kind of happens with fingerless mitts, especially with a wool that's this soft. This is a sport weight, I believe 2 or 3 ply yarn, and I'll just show you the detail of it. So it's got some twisted ribbing. And then I have a row of a brioche pleat that I did the similar thing in the Jack's Lament cowl, but I did it in one color in these. Other features of this is you also build out for your thumb. So when you wear it, like for me, you know, I want them to be a little tighter than what the Urban Erin mitts, how they were fitted, was a little loose for me. My hands are a little slender. They're not like super, you know, big hands. So I went with, you know, what's the medium size for me. And they fit like a glove. And I've been loving these. I love wearing fingerless mitts. I feel kind of like a boxer. Like they give me some power. Anyway, so I knit them. There's 3 sizes listed. It's pretty easy to adapt, I think, too, if someone wanted to challenge themselves a little bit. But adult, small, medium, large. Small could probably double for like a teen size as well. And the large basically for like any bigger man. You know, you can also add a little more of a cuff. You know, it's so easily adaptable. I think the whole pattern's, you know, yeah, there's a pattern. It's easy to follow. Morehouse Farms actually has been doing a knit along for these. I think it's about to end, actually. It's run through their Facebook group. But if you ever want to do a knit along with them, they're really cool. I've been watching it happen. And Erin helps break it down like step by step. She does video instructions for the patterns that they do knit alongs for. And I am super pumped to have been working with her and the company. And it's a really cute farm, upstate New York. I believe Danny, Gemma Darlings, she has a video on YouTube of our trip there and our little tour that we had. And I can't wait to get back there. I know they will be at Vogue Knitting Live, so I'm definitely going to spend some time in our booth, I believe Saturday. I'm going to get the details for that out there when it comes closer to the event, but I'm super booked for that event at this point. Like, I'm just doing appearances and all sorts of draz there. So, let's do some more hats. We have so much, and it's already 24 minutes. I love these podcasts where they just, like, tend to talk for, like, 30 minutes and then get to things that they're working on. Me, it's like, I have to get to things that I'm working on, otherwise I have so much piled up. So, you know what? Speaking of that, I think we're even gonna skip this pattern. That one's the one that I was about to show. I'm probably not going to release for a little bit, maybe in a couple weeks. It's probably not going to be till January, if then. And that's the point that I'm having some issue with. I wanted to talk about this one actually. So I got to a point where I was knitting so much this summer, and I had so many designs that I had completed, that I realized, oh my god, I have to test them all, which, you know, I do, and I was putting them out there, but I was like, everything has to be tested, and then edited, and then photographed, and then have a PDF layout, and then I have to release it. And the fall season is so short, especially in New York, but, you know, it's really not a long period of time. Technically, I think we're still in fall, probably, and it's December. I think that's how that works. I could be totally wrong there. We could be in winter, but... So that's as much as I know about my seasons. Anyway, so I designed this earlier in the summer. It's been photographed, it's been test knit, it's been tech edited. The only thing that hasn't been done is the PDF layout and released. And the thing with it is I chose colors that I absolutely love. I wear all the time here, and really works well with my wardrobe and what I like to wear, but it is extremely autumnal. So I think I'm not going to end up releasing this until next year. Maybe like late summer is what I was thinking, as I can knit it next year for fall. But you know what? I'm going to tease y'all with it anyway. So this is one of my shawl designs called Grimm. G-R-I-M-N is what I came up with. So it is a extended like check mark, basically. This side goes to like a flat, like a scarf ending. And then this side tapers and fades to a point. So yeah, so it's 3 skeins of 100 Ravens yarn. The back side's really cool too, because the fade is just even more, you know, obvious. So it's 3 skeins of 100 Ravens. It's 2 tonals, and then one that's like variegated that blends in really interestingly with the brown tonal. I believe it was espresso. No, it could be toy making. I'm not even gonna pretend to know the names right now. They're there somewhere. There will be there when it released the pattern. So this one's was fun for me to figure out, like my favorite way of wearing too. So I actually do a little bit of that generally, and then I wear it like so, basically. So it's a really fun shawl. It's really simple. It's basically just striping after you get through the middle, because you start here. So yeah, I can't wait to actually end up releasing this. I feel really bad that I didn't get it out there this year, so sorry, 100 Ravens yarn. It will be released. It's a beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's their DK weight. I worked with a lot of DK this year. It's just a really fun, like fast enough weight that that's just easily wearable, I find. So let me just bundle it up like this and show you. What do you think? Isn't it beautiful? Mess. So this is the shawl. I mean, it also wears like this, like a typical shawl too, and you can tie it and put this out there, and you know, all that fun stuff too. Yeah, it was a really cool pattern, and the initial name I got from the Raven, the poem. I think it was Ghastly Grimm, an Ancient Raven, and then I shorted it just to Grimm, and that was too much like a TV show that I've never watched, so I went Grimm, as in G-R-I-M, and then G-R-I-M-N, and combined it, so it's like a grimace and a grin, and yeah, because in the end it kind of looks like a Cheshire Cat smile, especially with the fade. So yeah, this will be released at some point, unless people think that I could just like release it at any point and just go, yeah, it's out there, and you can do it in your fun colors and it'll be great, but it is a little autumnal. Still fun. Could just be my colorways. Maybe I just talked, anyway, we'll get there. Okay, so let's go to this one. I believe I must have shown this before, but I've now released the pattern, so I figured I'd show it to you guys again. This is the Back in the Sun shawl. I used Walk Collection, 3 colors. I believe it was Masala, Jade, and Merlot. And yeah, so I completed it late summer. We got it photographed. I'm gonna show it to you nice and slow. Nice. and easy. But when we do it here, we like to do it nice and rough. What am I, Tina Turner? I don't know, y'all. So there we are. It's lacy mesh short rows that are reversible or reversed. Often this is the wrong side technically, but either way it's pretty reversible. And then my favorite part really is at the end. I did a little sun edging. You know, when you block it out, so, and I'll reblock it for Vogue, but you get this little like raggedy edge, which I kind of love because it's a sun and it's in the yellow. So ridiculous. Anyway, I wear this between this and Darth FM, I pretty much only wear those two, just because I love the look of it. I love how this thing wears. It's just like wears kind of like a scarf, but it is a shawl, and it was a really fun knit. I would love to do another one. I know my friend Emily, who's also a test knitter for me, she's already knit 2 of these now because she loved the short rows so much. She said the short rows were just really fun, and I agreed. So we'll keep it on for a minute. So actually, speaking of Emily, I released the goldenrod pollen hat. What was it, late summer? I used Chelsea yarns for it, which I love. Christina and Miriam of Chelsea Pearls. Hey, I watch their podcast like every week, but I just don't comment. I'm not a commenter, so I don't know if they know that I watch it every week, but I do. Don't we all at this point, right? It's great. So anyway, I knit the pattern, or knit the sample, I designed it. This was the first test knit that Emily did for me. She lives in Spain, and recently she actually sent me the original sample that she knit, and it's stunning. So she sent it all the way from Spain with a beautiful card. So thank you so much for sending that. It's been my most worn hat now. But anyway, so this is the sample that she knit. This is, I believe, is Countess Ablaze for the DK weight yarn that she knitted in, and then the silk mohair that she used is Lana Grossa. But I mean, look at the pooling and the speckling. I believe it was a one-of-a-kind, or it was a very limited release for Countess Ablaze, and it's just, you know, it's a beautiful hat. Whoever designed it is just really talented. Anyway, so this is me in it. I look great in it. I wear it all the time. I'm gonna have Vincent, the Knit Owl, photograph me in it so I could release it as like a second sample with some professional pictures done. So Vincent, the Knit Owl, has been doing all my photography basically. He comes out to Astoria for me. It's been really incredible working with him and working with a photographer to like come up with like a look for my designs to like, I don't feel like I'm not cohesive with my work, but I feel like being someone who is I was a transformative actor, like I just love transforming. So every pattern that I'm doing and every design that I'm coming up with, I feel like is like something new and something interesting for me. So having him have the vision, like as the photographer, to like photograph them all cohesively is really, really cool to like drive the point across that like, I'm gonna keep coming up with some random ass stuff, sorry about it, and release that and go, listen, this is where I'm at, this is what I find interesting in knitting, and it pretty much comes from my head, because I still avoid reading other people's patterns as much as possible. Anyway, more about that some other time. So this is the goldenrod and pollen hat, also available on Ravelry. I am looking to size this pattern out. I didn't in the initial, when I initially released it. It's the hat that decreases. But I think it's a really cute hat for like a kid. So I'm working to size it out and then have it retested and do a little re-release, possibly in the spring maybe, or like late winter. So there's that, and then we're gonna get to this one. I'm gonna take this off now. So, I stopped podcasting for a bit for some reasons. Basically, I've been going through a workers' compensation case struggle with a spine injury I had on tour last year. There's a lot that went into that. There's a lot of legal stuff going on with that, and it's been really very draining for me as a person. So as you can see, I knit a lot, and I think that's really been my saving grace through it all. You know, during that experience that I was on tour and I got injured, I wasn't really able to see a doctor. So I kind of had to deal with the injury and do shows and keep going. And so that's how I knit so much last year for Christmas. That's how I kind of got proficient in it, is because I worked on it, you know, 14 hours a day, just to get through. So there are times still that I'm dealing with the trauma from that. Anytime I really have to go into a doctor for it, anytime I have to talk to a lawyer about it, or, you know, anything like that. So it can get, it's like a whole big head game that's going on. And that's part of the reason why I think I stopped podcasting. It's just, there's so many highs and lows that come with that, and I just, anytime I try to sit down to podcast, I mean, partially in the summer, it's really hot in this room, and then my computer editing's been a mess, because my computer's old, and doesn't have a lot of room, and on top of it, half the times I'd sit down to try and podcast something, and I would just be like, it would bring me to some head place that I don't want to go, and I don't want to bring y'all with me, because it's my own thing. So anyway, one night, I went through like a crazy morning with all that workers' comp stuff, and then I went and did a photo shoot for some of my designs, and that night I was like, you know what, I just need a different project. I need something that's like not on my schedule to design. I just want to pick up some yarn and do something. So what I ended up with was the the double strung, oh god, what did I call this? Scrappy plied. So many names, y'all. The Scrappy Plied 2-night strand hat. So here it is. This is the original sample that I designed. What it is you take, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. You take one skein of DK weight, or you could use two that are very similar in weight and yardage, and you're gonna hold that for the entire pattern, for the whole hat. And then what you do is every couple of rows, you strand in another DK weight yarn, or say 2 fingering weight yarns that you hold double, and you just, every 2 to 4 rows or so, basically, you're switching your colors. So, I mean, I use scraps from probably like 15 different projects in this. I did not keep track of what they were, and and we as in I made this hat. And I busted it out in basically a night, and then I still have some coming out there, but I call it a 2-night strand because you end up having to weave in so many ends if you actually weave them in. So, and some of them clearly I did not. Anyway, so this is what it kind of looks like on. Now, I will say, in the end, I think it's a 60 that I cast on with. The hat's too small for me to really wear it. So I am going to gift it to someone this year, and then I'm going to knit myself another one in a larger size, and I'll probably put an update to the pattern with that. It's so easily adaptable. It's a very basic hat pattern, other than, you know, the stranding is really what's interesting about it, and what has been really fun to see people knit it up. I think there are 8 or 9 different projects on Ravelry now with it, and each one is like cooler than the next. Like, they're all freaking amazing. So this is the double strung. No, I have a double strung hat. That was the one I did with the silent fibers. This is the don't even know the names of my patterns. Good. Such an artist. Really professional, talented. Great. Okay. Let's see, what are we doing? So we're gonna whip. Okay, if we're gonna whip, I'm gonna be right back. 1 second. Yep, shorts, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yup, there you go. Watch it walk away. Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? You're welcome. Gotta love some, what's her name? I was gonna say Lauryn Hill. Gotta love some, Faith Hill. I really don't like her. Anyway, so I'm going to show you 3 of my whips that I have. I have a few others that are going, but they're all kind of secret other than these, and even one of these is a little secret, but I'm going to share it anyway because it's just a cool, it's going to be a really cool pattern when it's released. Yeah, just taking a breath because, yeah, the 2-night strand hat, that was an emotional night for me, so a lot of emotions going, so anytime I go into it and I talk about it, it's kind of brings me there, but we're all right, we're all good. So I want to start with this. I'm in the middle of a row, but I did, when I went to Rhinebeck this year, which I didn't podcast or anything about, but Rhinebeck, if you haven't been, it's incredible. You gotta go if you can. I had an amazing time. I met with so many people, but on my way there I realized, oh my god, I have nothing cast on for it. Like, what am I gonna knit if I have time to knit? So I was looking around, I was like, I want something easy, but not super easy, like something, and I have yarn for that I don't have to, whatever. And I ended up throwing on a hipster shawl by Joji Lopatelli. If you have followed me or followed any of this, Joji, I blame her for me learning to knit. No, I'm thankful for her patterns because they really did teach me a lot when I was first starting to knit. So I ended up going with this one. I know a lot of people have knit this, but I'm knitting it out of some Is That Ken yarn. So Ken yarn, Jake, a good friend who actually I stayed with there. His yarn right now is a little, it's a little throw uppy because of, look at that. But these are the 2 colors I'm using. The shawl normally does call for 1 color. I had 2 skeins of this and 1 skein of the red. And I went, you know what, I'm gonna stripify this. So, this is what I'm going to end up calling Hipster Man, as if it were Superman. I'm a nut. So, here we are. It's a really easy pattern. These Indian cross stitches are really incredible. The texture band, I will say, doesn't really show up in this yarn too well. This is one of Jake's earlier bases. I don't believe he dyes this base anymore, but I can see why. I mean, it's not like the super soft stuff. I think it's just wool. It's not merino, but his colors are just beautiful. I love his blues. I have some other of his blues somewhere. I should probably show them. I'll probably grab them in a minute too. Anyway, so I'm mid-row, mid-Indian cross-stitch, but it is really fun. It's really pretty mindless, like all this garter. You're just going. So I do plan to finish this at some point in the near future. I want some wool in my mouth. You're welcome. And I'll get there. It's going to be great. So this is Hipster Man. I want to do like a funny photo shoot with me like in my suit and I'm like ripping out and I have a hipster shawl on. That's what I'm planning. If y'all steal that idea, I'm out. I'm out of this business if y'all steal that. No more. No stealing. It's fine. We all do what we do. And we gain, and that's something that I've noticed a lot of designers and a lot of people talk about, where like you pick up things from other people and then it influences your work, and that's an interesting concept that I haven't done so much with. I haven't really I haven't done enough of other people's works for them to really influence me in a lot of ways, I think. I've gotten some Stephen West comparisons, but I look at his designs and they're really beautiful and really extravagant. It's like how I would look at them. But I feel like mine I'm a little more simple in look. I feel like it's a little more, it's simplified. I mean, I generally use just a couple of skeins of yarn, generally. Another little teaser about what's to come. So, anyway, we're just gonna move on from that whole little thought. Yeah. This design, I'm gonna show you the yarn first because I'm obsessed with these colors. When I was at Rhinebeck, I was really grateful to go have dinner with the fiberists, and we went to it ended up being like a pizza joint and had some like pasta. And we just talked about what, you know, yarns they have, what they have coming, and, you know, about what their business is like and what mine's been like and how I've been starting, you know, what I've been starting to do and what my real like goals are with it and where I'm headed. And so they ended up giving me quite, you know, a bit of yarn to design with. So I'm gonna have 2 designs coming up with the Fibrous next year. And the first one is on the needles at the moment. I'm gonna share it with you. This is their sport weight. That's pretty true. I mean, the colors are reading pretty true today. I'm right next to my window, and I have my room lights on, which are a little yellow. So if anything, everything's gonna be a little more yellow. But this is like a chartreusey green, and then this is the star of the show. This is not silk mohair. This is mohair nylon. I haven't seen mohair nylon anywhere else. When they were talking to me about it, you know, they love playing with different bases and having, you know, new and interesting things and spins on things. That's why they have like the sport weight, which is, you know, super 100% superwash, but really soft, you know, kind of standard, but a different, not as common a weight. And I love sport weight yarn. Love it. So this is mohair nylon. It looks and feels like cotton candy. And what's been really interesting about it is, you know, with silk mohair, you get a lot of like fluff kind of flying around, and you end up with it in your mouth, and it kind of gets everywhere, and that's part of the fun. But this does not do that. So it's a little sturdier, I feel. It's knitting up so nicely, and this is the design I'm working on with it. I've followed the sockmatician Nathan Taylor for a bit, and looked at his work, and I've always been intrigued by double knitting. I've never done it before this design, because that's what I do, is when I go, that's a cool idea. How can I simplify it in a way that without, I mean, I didn't even read a pattern on how to actually double knit. I kind of just, you know, I looked it up a little online and watched someone do it, and I went, okay, I'll figure out how I'm gonna get into this. But I figure out a way that I can simplify it enough that me being a complete novice double knitter has a pattern out there that another complete novice double knitter will be able to pick up, as, you know, if they're familiar with mohair. I think the silk mohair is the only thing that would be a little tricky. But needless to say, this is Reptar on Ice. The name alone just cracks me up. So here's the beginnings of a double knit cowl. You can see the inside is essentially just lined with mohair. So it's the outside here. You have a little garter detail, a little mohair detail, and then this, like, the edging's a little, like, how it comes off is a little on the, like, it's not raggedy, but it's Reptar. Like, I mean, I can't wait for the photo shoot for this. It's gonna be really fun, and the color, I mean, I don't know if it's reading exactly, but the color is Reptar. Anyway, I was knitting this on set the other day in like the dark, and it was pretty interesting to do. Mohair, not my favorite to knit in the dark, but I got through and I did perfectly fine. I am loving this little single row mohair detail that I'm doing. Anyway, it's basically going to be a repeat throughout to the top at this point, now that it's established. It does take some time just because you are double knitting, so there's 2 layers that you're knitting at the same time, as you can kind of see. Similar to brioche, but easier. Easier than brioche by far. And I feel like if you make a mistake in this, it'll be easier to catch too. Like you're able to go back a little bit easier. So in some of my spare time with my knitting, I'm working on this. I don't know when this is going to be done or released. I would love to at least have the sample for Vogue Knitting Live, because the Fiberists are going to be at VKL this year. So I would love to at least have the sample there and then be like, oh, the pattern's coming, you know, all that stuff's coming. So people maybe will buy, like, you know, 2 skeins from them, because it's super soft. This mohair nylon, I know on some level hearing nylon in mohair, you're thinking, I don't know how that's gonna feel, I don't know how that's gonna work, but I think something about it being a synthetic fiber with the mohair grasps to the mohair better than silk. So I'm not pulling mohair out of my mouth the whole time. I have a feeling that this product, if it is mass marketable, will be a little more common in the near future than the silk mohair. It also, as you can see, it dyes up much more saturated. It must be much easier to get this because nylon dyes up, you know, pretty well. I had never seen saturation like in mohair like I did with them, pretty much. So squishy. I got my Mo Halo. Anyway. I'm gonna drop it. Now for the main event. Here we go. I'm gonna first show you this. So it's taken me a bit to get there. I said that I was gonna get it done this year, and then I said I wasn't gonna get it done this year, and now I'm really not sure if I'm gonna get it done this year. But I am working on something, and it is the patina pullover from Rib 1 by Hannah Fettig. And I'm knitting my first sweater, y'all. So here's the yarn I chose. This is Green Mountain Spinnery, their weekend wool. It's a natural wool, American wool. It's not scratchy. It is rustic, but it's soft. And it's the colorway Spruce. I have about 12 skeins of it because that's what the pattern I think called for 11, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna get an extra just in case. And here's where I'm at. Now, I have split for the sleeves once, and I decided I didn't like where it was, you know, sitting, so I decided I was gonna knit a little bit more. But my struggle has been with the gauge. Not that I'm not with gauge or whatever. I don't know if that makes any sense. Hannah Fettig says she knit this on a 7, and when you look at the tag, it says 7, a US 7. But when I was on a US 7, my gauge was nowhere near what she listed. So I had to go down 2 needle sizes, and this is where I'm at. Let me see if I can get the front. Is that the front? Yeah. It's a little funky because I broke a needle. So here's where we're at. If you look at that, the gauge is super tight. I have a little charm. I picked up this charm, or I got this charm at Rhinebeck on the Podcaster Meetup Hill, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know who gave it to me, but if you know, if you can see it. Anyway, it's a little sheep. I would love to say thank you. So, this is where we're at. Yeah, the other night, I was trying to get this done. I was thinking I'm going to get this done in a week for some other reasons, because I have some shooting to do this weekend. Some filming, and I wanted to wear it. But I broke a needle. I had to switch. I initially was on my Hayas, and my hands were cramping, like, really bad, my US 5s. So I switched over to my, it's like a Knit Picks or Knitter's Pride acrylic set. Is Knit Picks a needle brand? I hope so. If not, oh well, life. But for other reasons. So I was going along, and I snapped one. So I am waiting till I get some other needles. I'm gonna try some other ones. The thing is, I love how this is actually, like, the gauge that it's coming out on is really structured, and I feel like I will have this sweater for the rest of my life if I continue at this gauge. So if I can find a needle that isn't gonna break, I was thinking maybe going to tulips. I love my tulip set that I have now. I just have a US 3, 24-inch or 20-inch circular, I believe it is. And I absolutely love that needle. So I was thinking about heading over to Brooklyn General that has them and seeing if I could get a needle that would work. But we'll see. Metal I found was just, I'm not gonna try metal on this again. But this sweater is really, it's gonna be really beautiful, I think. And I don't think I've messed up anything yet. I know there was one row that I was like, oh, I'm off in my count, and I fixed it from my, I think, and my raglan increases look like they're lining up correctly. And I did try it on before. I'm gonna do it again. Not that it's gonna work because I have needles on, but it's fitting me in the right spots. It's all working. What I ended up doing, I am knitting an in-between size because I'm a crazy person who's never knit a sweater, but decided, let's make up my own sizing for this one. Given the pattern is very basic and simple, you know, you just raglan increases that you knit around, and then you're doing a little like garter and ribbing feature on the top, the bottom, and the cuffs. But I decided, when I did my measurements, I was like, I'm an in-between size here, so that's what we're gonna do. I don't want an oversized sweater, I want a sweater that fits. So we're gonna do it. And I think I'm on ball 3, and we have a ways to go. But maybe by Christmas is what I'm thinking. Which, by the way, I'm almost at my 1-year podiversary. Maybe this will be my podiversary gift. This is the back. Anyway, so at this gauge, it almost feels like knitting felt. It's an inside joke that you're gonna get in a couple of weeks, so let's just put it that way. But it's the gauge, it's gonna be a beautiful sweater. I can't wait to have it, can't wait to wear it. It's gonna be super warm. Weekend wool, yeah, it's a pretty great project. And now I think let's do a little bit of yarn parade, seeing as we're only at an hour. We clearly have time for this. I've been really grateful to receive some really incredible yarn. I work a lot with yarn dyers and get some yarn support there for designs that we come up with, or we have concepts for, or really sometimes they just send me yarn to go do what you want, and which I love doing because that's when a lot of my projects really, I think my better projects come out that way. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Not better. I shouldn't say better. More creative, more like experimental patterns, I should say. But I'm gonna start with some of the stuff that I got from Danny. So Gemma Darlings has a D-stash, Gemma Darlings D-stash on Instagram. Instagram profile. She has a lot of yarn, so she gets rid of it periodically and goes through it. And one of the updates that she had this year, she's like, hey, I know you don't have a stash, because I really don't have a stash. Like, I have, a couple of skates, basically, and the rest of it's design work. She's like, pick of all this, what do you want before, whatever goes out? And I was like, yeah. So, I picked out some of them. Some of them I've used, some of them maybe I've, like, gifted to other people just to pass it along. But some of them I've held on to. And I don't believe I've shown any of this on podcast yet. If I have, I'm so sorry. But these are 2 skeins of Ching fibers. I'll just hold up one. I feel like maybe this was one of the days that I podcasted and didn't release the podcast. I filmed this. I was trying to hold it the right way up because I'm being silly and was like, why is it reading backwards? It's been a while. So this is the colorway Palenque. I believe, P-A-L-E-N-Q-U-E, 100% superwash, 100 grams, 400 yards to fingering weight, and I have 2 of them, and while not my colors exactly, I think this would make a beautiful shawl gift for someone. Maybe I'll end up having a sample of a shawl knit in it someday, is what I was thinking. They just grabbed me because I hadn't seen so much like this out there. And I had no Ching. I've never had Ching fiber. I do want to get some of that baby Surrey alpaca though. Stephen West, you got me hooked there. Every time I see it, I'm like, I want some. And I think I'm allergic to alpaca even. Whatever. So these are 2 skeins of Ching I got from Danny. Really beautiful. I've never worked with it. I can't wait to. It feels like a substantial. Smells like a good woolly wool. And there's that. I've also discussed quite a bit on this podcast and in the past my love for Olan yarns. Olan, where is she? She's based in Ireland. That was it. There's so many dyers and stuff that I've been working with across the seas now, and so it's keeping it straight's been a little difficult. But Jess is based in Ireland, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, but my first sock hat that I knit, my first and only that I've knit, I knit in Olan Moonlit, the sock yarn, and I didn't even realize that this was the same skein, but in singles, but when she sent it to me, I was like, oh my god, it is. But Danny had a skein of Moonlit in single ply. Now, I mean, come on, how beautiful is that? Absolutely adore it. I don't think I'll ever knit this. I don't think I could. I already have something knit in Moonlit. I don't need another thing knit in Moonlit. I just want to look at that skein. I mean, look how dark it is, and then that bright, the pale blue and the pale, like, lavender, super bright in there. It's a really, she's really an incredible dyer. Dyer. I'm cracking on the word dyer. She's really an incredible dyer. So, I really love this skein. I'll cherish it forever. So, of my Gemma Darlings D-stash that I got, those were some of my highlights that I wanted to share with you. There was more, and it's all beautiful. There's so much beautiful yarn out there, you know? So let's see, what can I go to next? Let's go to these. I was really grateful to help out at the India Untangled event at Rhinebeck. So me and Danny, Gemma Darlings, ended up working the India Untangled booth. And, you know, there were so many different dyers and, you know, companies there, so I got to meet a lot of people. But at the end of the night, Lisa, who is India Untangled, turned to me and Danny and went, "What do you want from the booth? Take what you want." And let's just say, the La Bien on Me that she had, the colorways that she had this year, were right up my alley. I think it was Melanie Berg that designed the shawl for Lisa for the event, but there was quite a bit left, so I took enough for in my head, a DK marled sweater. I think I would need another skein or two, which I know some people that would have, or I can just pick up or, you know, get it, but these were the two colors. This one's Kingston, and this one is Hudson, the darker. Let me show them one at a time. So, this is like a, you know, it's a silvery gray base with little speckles of some teal, some green, I think some red or rust colors in there, if you see that. La Bien. What else have I knit? Volcano was knit with some La Bien on Me that I picked up at VKL last year. So I have so much of this. And I have so much of this too. And this is such a dark, mossy green. I don't know how well that's going to read. It's probably going to be a difficult color to read here, but I'm sure if you go on India Untangled, you can see the actual colors. La Bien, y'all, is just beautiful. 100% superwash, 100 grams, 400 yards. Oh, I can't wait. I'm not going to lie. With how much I have, I am debating just designing a fingering weight striped sweater with this. It may take me a couple years to get done, but I am, it's in my mind, it's in my head to have. I think it would be really cool, maybe even like a lacy something, not like, you know, my kind of lace, not like lace pattern, but like mesh. It would be really fun and knit faster. So that's my thought. We'll see what I end up doing with it. I don't really know. I just knew I picked up like 8 skeins of it. So this is beautiful. I don't know if she still has some available for sale. If she does, pick some up. It's really, really great. Great colors. Good for men or women. So let's see, what can I go to next? Let's do it. Also, a gift from Danny. Oh, let's do some crinkle control. There we go. Let's get the crinkling done. I've never used Plucky Knitter. I mainly know of it because Gigi made it. Love you, Gigi. I have a Gigi parody that's been going on in my head for quite a while that I need to really film and put out there. Maybe I'll do that today too. It's really good. It's about Plucky Knitter. Anyway, so I ended up getting some Plucky Knitter on the Cormo update that recently happened. So I have 3 skeins of the Cormo worsted. Dive Bar is the colorway. It's reading a little lighter than it actually is. I've been really into blues lately, but I've never used a Cormo. It feels a little different. It's still soft. It's not rustic feeling. It feels like it's gonna have really good stitch definition. Maybe I was intending to do a shawl, a 3 skein 1 color shawl was my idea. I don't know when I'll get to that, but I feel like it would probably do well with cables. You know, so yeah, it's It's a really beautiful dark blue. You know, goes well with jeans, goes well with anything. It's like, it's pretty much a neutral, as it reads to me. So I'm excited to work with that. And then I also got one other skein in that same update. It's the Primo Fingering, 385 yards. It's 75-25, so 75% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 5% nylon in the colorway Twill. It's so soft. I wanted a creamy, like it's a little yellow. It's definitely a cream, almost a taupe. And I think it'll make a really beautiful hat. Honestly, an MCN slouchy beanie that I released, another free pattern that I have on Ravelry, would be really beautiful on this. But I'm gonna design something else, is the plan. Because that's what I do. Why repeat patterns? Come on, keep making them. Make the people happy. Anyway, hope you caught that on camera. So this one has a little bit of yarn barf going on. It's a horrible, horrible term. Is that really what we're calling it? Is that really a thing, or am I just like saying that today? I don't know. I tend to do that. But maybe a month and a half ago, Alana of Do You Knit came to visit me. I love seeing Alana. She's really, we have a great time every time I've seen her. I've known her now for about a year, almost a year, not nearly a year. I met her at Stitches United. Anyway, so when she came to visit me, she brought me a skein of Hedgehog Fibers Merino DK. This is Witch Hunter. I think that's what I'm talking about, like, all that. But look at that. You know, again, I'm a sucker for these like super dark bases, and then like that's when I get the speckle on top. I'm not a huge fan of the lighter speckle. I'm somewhat into it. I'm into it when it's interestingly done, which I'm about to show you one skein that was after this one. But all the colors in there are just, I mean, you have every color under the sun. It's like a black hole sun is what I would call this if I were to name this skein. Witch Hunter is really cool too, but black hole sun. I mean, this will be a really cool hat. Maybe if I get some more DK, I could work it into like a shawl pattern or a cowl. Actually, how much yardage is this? Does it say? It's 115 grams, 200 meters, because that helps me. I don't know how, I can't convert that in my head right now. I'm really good at math, but not conversions like that. Look at that green, look at that green. I mean, come on. So yeah, really beautiful. Thank you, Alana. This is a really beautiful gift. You know, I've used Hedgehog when I designed for D-Unit, Giving You Cake, that cowl. I used the fingering, you know, they're single. And this is just, look at that drape that it's gonna have. It's almost in like slow motion. Anyway. Now this is the last skein I'm gonna show you, because that clearly wasn't enough. But when I was at Indie Untangled, I was working the booth, and earlier in the day, Nicole of Hugh Loco, who was showing there, she came over to the booth and asked me to save a Stash Bunny pin for her because she wanted it. And so I immediately put one in my back pocket, and I waited most of the day. And then when she came over, I was like, listen, we still have some, but I did save this one for you. It was in my back pocket all day. And she was like, thank you for doing that. If you would like to come over, and I was, talking to her a little bit, but she's like, if you want to come over and grab a skein, and like, you're more than welcome to. So she gifted me a skein, whatever I wanted there. And since I've been working in so much DK, I've been recently looking to more worsted, probably for winter. That makes some sense, right? We want a little thicker of a fiber, a little chunky fiber. Anyway, so I found this skein, and honestly, in the evening at Indie Untangled, the lighting was a little darker, so it was a little harder to see. But I did pick this up. I believe I had seen this before also on her site. So this is the skein Cool Kids. What drew me to this was how mustardy this side is and how light this side is. From working with another yarn, for a pattern that I haven't released yet. And I would like to, but I just don't have time. I come to sort of figure that when I see a skein that does that, and it's like a darker on this side or a lighter on this side or vice versa, they generally tend to pool. And I thought the pooling, and you know, here I'll move this, look at that purple that's in there, the purple speckles. So while it is a lighter skein with speckling, and look at that neon, the neon green, I mean, come on, all the colors in this, look at that red, that pinky red. Anyway, I thought this would be a really cool hat. So I'm not sure if other designers have worked with this color or not. I think this is one of her, like, I think this is a color that she's had for a while from my understanding. I could be totally wrong there. I could be just making that up. But either way, Cool Kids with a K. It's worsted, super wash, 218 yards, 100 grams. And I'm really excited to work with some Hue Loco. So my next hat will be this. I have too many projects on the needles. I need to clear some off before I can get to it, but I want this. I want this hat bad. Beautiful. So that's some of my yarn stash at the moment. Again, a lot of it goes with design work. Some of it, you know, like, you know, I'll gather from people that I am gonna stash that. And honestly, that's been a great way for me to be able to like pay people at this point to assist me with some things. Like, you know, right now I kind of have like this team going to help me put out my patterns because it's just too much for just me. So I have like my friend who's a tech editor, I have my friend who's photography, Danny who's doing my layouts for PDFs. So basically at this point what I'm doing is I am designing the patterns, I'm knitting the first sample, I'm doing the first draft edit of all my patterns, and then it basically goes to test knitters, tech editor, I get my photography done, and then I do the PDF layout with, you know, Danny does it, and then I help, you know, I give like ideas for what I want for that one, whatever pattern we're working on, and then I just write the Ravelry page up and release the pattern. So it is a process getting as much as I am getting out there, as fast as I am, but if I don't move at this pace, we're just gonna keep missing things, and I don't want to do that to anyone. So now I promised that I would show this on my podcast, the next podcast that I have, and I am so happy to finally be able to do it. Like, it's been one of the biggest sources of guilt for me is to not be able to show this on my podcast. I've shown it plenty of times on my Instagram. I'm going to continue to show it because it's still one of my favorite things that I've received this year. So Papa Bear bags. You may have seen an episode on Christy Glass with Jay. I believe your name is Jay, right? I'm pretty sure. I think I'm right there. Anyway, so we had been in contact for a bit, and he finally, you know, he was like, hey, I'm going to do an update. Would you want a bag? And I was like, yeah, I would love one. You know, we figured out a price, blah, blah, blah. And then he sent me this. Oh my god, it's too much. I mean, I love this side because it's like, it's just discreet enough. Like, if you really look at it, oh, yep, you're seeing some shirtless men. Yep, guy in a onesie with no head, in the forest, camping, and then you turn it around, and bam! Look at those two. I love it so much. So, so when he sent it to me, it just had basically these straps that were on either side, which is a pretty standard like a project bag. And I didn't really pay attention. I never had a project bag. So, you know, I was looking at it. I walked it to the park one day, the first day that I got it, and I being me, ripped off one of them. Ripped off the tag here already. I was like, boom, done. I was like, oh my god, I feel horrible. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey, you know, I ripped off a tag. I'm so sorry. Or I ripped off the thing. He's like, send it back. I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, it's probably me. Like, I was whipping it around like an idiot. So, but I was like, hey, if I am sending it back, would you mind making an over-the-arm strap bag, which is what I use in my life every day? And he went, yes, I would absolutely do that for you. So when he sent it back, it now has this over-the-arm strap. So I wear it. So it's basically my backpack. I don't think he's releasing other ones with this. It's pretty much easily adaptable if you know how to sew. All you have to do is add another tag here and put it over the arm. It works just like a project bag still. It's big enough that I can, you know, I bring it to set with me. I bring it everywhere I go pretty much at this point. And I doesn't look, and really what I will say is when I first got it, the fabric was a little stiffer and it softened up so nicely. So it's clearly meant to last and built to last. I'm gonna show you the inside. That zipper action. I do want to get like a gray leather strap for it, but I'm just been too lazy. But like it's lined beautifully. There are no pockets in it, but I don't mind that at all. Everything just kind of goes in here. I'll throw in another little project bags often. And yeah, so now we're gonna show some other things. So this is Papa Bear bags. Really, really fun. I get comments on this everywhere I go. I keep the two gentlemen to me. Like I keep them secret whenever I'm in public, and then I only show people I like. So it's discreet enough, right? But you know, I think with me walking around in the beard and the and the leather and the baggy jeans and stuff, I needed something to let people know that I was gay, right? Kind of attract the men somehow. So there we are, Papa Bear bags. Ah, so nice, great product. I highly recommend it. If you haven't gotten one, go get one. Really, really cool. And when I was working at my other job before, one of my coworkers was always just like, it's just bros camping. That's all it is. No problem with that. Just bros camping. We all know. Ah, what did I drop? Oh no, oh no. Don't tell me that went through too. Where is it? Oh my God. Crisis alert. There's something I really needed to show you. No? Well, maybe we'll get it at some point here. So I wanted to show this little thing off just because I've actually been wearing this on a lot of my jean, like my belt loops. Don't know what that's about, but I really like it just because I think it's a fun pink, and I don't wear pink a lot. I'm not really huge into pink, but this is the Espace Tricot little like clippy thing that they handed out at the podcaster meetup. What happens at Rhinebeck stays at Rhinebeck. It's just a silly thing. I love it. I do wear it. I do use it. I don't think it's meant to be worn, but that's who I am. That's what I do. Do odd things like that. Okay. And then when I was at Indie Untangled, I went over to the Molly Girl booth and talked to Angela for the first time. And I didn't know that she was also sewed, but I found this little pouch. I needed a place, first off, that I could put my pins on. They're all messed up at the moment, but it's lined, so like you can totally have your pins going on this. So I've been planning little places. It's Pokemon themed. If you know anything about me, I love Pokemon. And I didn't have a little notions bag like this at all, and since getting one, I see why they are so popular, because now I just throw this in my bag and I have everything I need. I have my little Stitch and Hustle tape measure, which I got, I think, at Creative CC's birthday party. I have my scissor, which I stole from my roommate. You're welcome, Tim. Tim's doing well, everyone. Hoping to have him back on the podcast soon. And then I picked this up at Rhinebeck as well, New York Sheep and Wool. It's the Coco Knits triangle stitch markers set. I actually end up putting like all my stitch markers in it, but these are really, I've been loving using these triangles. Like I'd always been a clip-on stitch marker person, but these, and when I looked at them, I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work with my knitting. Is it gonna affect my gauge too much, or is what I used to have with like the circular ones? And what happens is like the flat side, this is a little small one. Look at my eye. There we go. What happens is the flat side ends up laying against your knitting, and so like the point ends up switching, so it doesn't affect your gauge and it just moves on smoothly. I found them really, really easy to use, really well designed. I love that they're black and white. I'm all about it. I also have my little bone crochet hook that I had taken from a house when I was on tour. You're welcome, house. Sorry, hope it's not haunting me. That made no sense to y'all, probably. Oh well. And a darning needle. I always lose these. I still lose these. So I at least have one in here that I like to keep, and I try not to use it. I try to use other ones if I can find them. So anyway, there's my little Notions case. And now I'm gonna be really great and like do one of these. Where is it? What the heck? Corrado Lark on a mission. Here we go. Turn it around. Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome, world. You got that. You got that action, right? Oh, that's interesting. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I work on the TV show Gotham. It's about to end. Tuesday's our last day of filming for this series as a cop. And the other day, they had bullets on the counter, on the table, so I took one. Memorabilia, because I won't get anything in the end, because I'm just a cop in the background. But, okay. I'm not into guns or anything like that either. Not. It's actually really weird when I'm working on set and they you know, hand me the gun every time. I'm always like, ooh, okay, I guess I'll have this in my hand. Yesterday was really crazy. I can't talk about it though. So that's that. Let me see, I had something else I had to grab too. 1 minute. Oh my God, where is it? Where did it go? This is so silly. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm just gonna talk to you about it. So, I met the girls from Must Love Yarn. So I got the pin here. This is the Must Love Yarn pin. This is the Fiberists pin, and this is the Pom Pom magazine. The like, what is it? The Moon issue, I believe it was. The one that just the one that came out before this latest one. This is the pin for that. I met them. They like, and then at the podcaster meetup on the hill, they handed out like little, you know, they had a little like that enamel pin. Yeah, talking. They had the enamel pin, and then they had like, they gave you a little meerkat card, and I keep literally going, oh, I need to post something with this, because that's the whole point of it, is that we like post pictures with this thing and like show it, and I just keep losing it. And I was so close to bringing it on this podcast too, and I still failed. There was another thing I wanted to show you. I don't even remember what it was, and this podcast is really long anyway, so I think it's time that we're just going to end it. So here's the deal. I want to podcast more for you guys. I don't know when the next one's going to happen. Maybe before Christmas, maybe after Christmas, maybe in the new year. I can't exactly promise that I'll be able to, or when I'll be able to do that. I want to have Tim back on the channel since he's back in the area with us. I want to teach him to knit again, because I'm pretty sure he forgot. And I really want to keep up with this for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you're happy I'm back, because I'm happy I'm back. You know, I've gained so many followers on Instagram now, and it's really been taking off for me in the business. So I've been really, really grateful for that, and grateful for all the people that I've met in the community. So thank you. You guys have really, really kept me going. Kept me going. Exhale. I've been meditating a lot. Can't even talk anymore. I get to this point in these podcasts that like my sinuses are so like why are you talking so much, that I just like anyway. I've been meditating a lot, which has been helping me quite a bit. I sometimes guided, sometimes with just I think the YouTube channel that I use is Meditative Mind. Has a lot of really good resources. Look at my toe. I'm not big into feet, but it looks weird. Like, it's like, where the heck is that foot coming from? Anyway, so I'm gonna cover that up with my knee. I've been using that. I've been meditating. I mean, some days a couple of hours, at least like 30 minutes I'm getting in, which has been really helpful. And it's something that, you know, knitting is a meditative practice for me for sure as well. But I tend to do it watching a show or watching like the news, you know, I don't know, watching podcasts, or like on the train when I'm on set. But the specific act of meditation, like closing my eyes, relaxing, breathing, has been really great. And I think that even as knitters, we can take a minute to just like breathe, because a lot of times I end up like realizing I'm really focused in on this knitting and really focused in on this project, and I'm just not paying attention to the rest of my body, and I'm very in my head doing it. So, so I've been working on that, and I hope you've liked this little finale angle that I've had for the podcast. It's been really fun and casual getting back to talking with y'all, and by talking with y'all, talking to myself on camera. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you come back for more. If you don't enjoy it, don't tell me about it, because I don't care. Okay, bye.